The Indian contingent in the United Nations mission in Sierra Leone. It has been in the news in recent weeks largely because of the sensational rescue of 213 Indian officers and men and 11 military observers from the eastern town of Kailahun. Since then, General Vijay Jetley has become a household name in India. How did he manage that amazing rescue operation? And what is the future of UNAMSIL? Let us speak to the General himself.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Nobody epitomizes this better than General Vijay Kumar Jetley, Force Commander of UNAMSIL, United Nations mission to Sierra Leone. Upbeat after the success of Operation Kukri, which rescued 213 Indian peacekeepers held hostage in the eastern town of Kailahun, General Jaitley was in New York recently to brief the UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. He also asked for more troops to strengthen UNAMSIL before further trouble erupts in the conflict areas. As Force Commander of UNAMSIL, which has been doing a difficult job of restoring peace to a war-torn nation, he is no stranger to criticism. But the well-executed Operation Kukri not only silenced his critics, but also reinforced the credibility of India's leadership in the peacekeeping activities of the UN. We speak to him.
Welcome to Worldview India, General Jetley. 213 Indian officers and men surrounded by the RUF rebels in Kailahun, the eastern town of Kailahun. 11 military observers, including one Englishman. 2.5 months. And you didn't know how to get them out. Or if you did, you never shared it with me. And then comes Operation Kukri, and you get all these people out. Miracle. How did you do it?
I all the time knew what I was going to do. I never shared it with anyone. For the simple reason that an operation which is to be conducted, one of the chances of success of an operation is to keep it as a surprise. So what I was aiming for was tactical surprise, which is what we achieved. So apart from the tactical surprise, it was the meticulous planning, it was the coordination, it was the rehearsals that we did.
Were you yourself there in Daru, in Kailahun?
Yes, I was there in Daru myself. I was there in the operation area myself, in Kailahun, in Pendembu, and other places. It was our troops who were very well motivated, very determined. They were very well led. And I think because of the achievement of tactical surprise, we managed to pull off a good operation, even if I do say so myself.
Were these UNAMSIL troops or Indian troops in UNAMSIL?
Well, it's basically Indian troops, but of course we made an international force. We did use Nigerians too. Basically, the Nigerians were used to relieve the Indian troops at Daru so that the Indians could go in for the operation. So they were part of the operation from that point of view. And we also used the Ghanaian troops for a diversionary movement from Kenema towards Daru to keep the RUF at bay.
So Operation Kukri, a great success. Were you received with were there celebrations at the United Nations when you went and met the Secretary General and you appeared before the Security Council itself?
Yes, people took it very well. In fact, they complimented the UNAMSIL force. People are very happy because this sort of an operation has come after a very long time. And the impression which has been given to me by the Secretary General and the Department of Peacekeeping Operations is that this operation has given a shot in the arm not just to UNAMSIL as a mission, but to peacekeeping per se.
You presented a kukri to the Secretary General as a, as a symbolic thing, is it?
Yes, that's right, because the operation was codenamed Kukri.
You are a creature of the Lome Accord. Now, Fode Sanko is a prisoner of the government. So, that body which created you, namely the Lome Peace Accord, doesn't exist. How do you exist then?
Let me just correct you on that. Lome still exists. It's tattered, it's torn, but it's not destroyed fully. In fact, the people in the field, that is the RUF and even the AFRC, they're still talking about Lome. But what they want is a slight revision of Lome, because they find at the end of 1 year, that Lomé has not come up to their expectations. So what they're suggesting is certain changes.
3,500 Indian troops as part of this 13,500 UNAMSIL in Sierra Leone. Why? What is the Indian interest?
India doesn't go anywhere for an Indian interest. Indian interest is that as a responsible member of the United Nations, we have commitments. And when we ask, all countries are asked, when we are asked for help from the United Nations, we consider as to whether we can or cannot spare some troops. And we spared troops for Sierra Leone, as we have spared for about 33 missions before this.
The British interest in Sierra Leone is pronounced. They would rather have UNAMSIL fight the battle against the RUF with the British sitting in the harbor on their ships. True or false?
Well, this is a question the Brits can answer better themselves. They did come with a sizable force, but their aim was very clear. The aim was to get the 700 British nationals out. After that, they continued to stay on. It's a bilateral arrangement between them and Sierra Leone. And what really, should I say, upset me a little bit when I didn't talk about it, but now that you mentioned it, is this thing which is going around about British saving Freetown and British saving Sierra Leone. Their presence was there, certainly, but there was no commitment whatsoever, no deployments, other than on the Freetown Peninsula itself.
At the moment, it is raining cats and dogs in Sierra Leone, and it will continue to do so till November. So until then, there is peace. Then, it seems that your mandate is going to change. You will have 16,500 troops or more. How many troops would you like there?
Well, I would not like to stress on any numbers, to tell you very frankly, and there are no numbers laid down. And there was talk about 16,500. It's not the case any longer. What people have realized is what I projected across to the Security Council and to the others, is that there's a dire necessity of more troops, because the present lot, which is there with me, which is roughly 12,500, is just adequate to do what we're doing right now, and that is taking care of the southern part of the country, and the Lungi and the Freetown Peninsulas. If we got to extend our area of influence, which we should, to the rest of the country, so that humanitarian aid can also flow there, and so that we can create an atmosphere for disarmament, then we need more troops.
We went to some very nice restaurants, good seafood and things. Paddies, when you get lonely and dry, do you sometimes go to Paddies?
Frankly, no, I've never been there.
You've never been to Paddies?
I've never been to Paddies.
Sorry?
For the simple reason that...
Have you heard about Paddies?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
What have you heard about it?
Well, I heard that it's a nice restaurant. It's got a lot of life. It's very lively. But at my age and
it's an Englishman?
Yeah, it is owned by an Englishman. But at my age and my service, firstly, I don't need to go out to any places like that. I'm not young anymore. Secondly, it's got a bit of a seedy reputation, a very seedy reputation. There are lots of women of ill repute moving around over there. So I won't like to get involved in anything like that.